Welcome to Daily Armour. Our verse today will be found in the book of James, chapter number 1, and we'll be looking at verse number 2. Verse number 2 says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into divers temptations." Now, this is talking to the brethren. James is speaking to those that are saved. Those that are saved have a rare privilege that whenever trials and temptations and tragedy and things come our way, and they do, that the Lord Jesus is going to be there with us and going to help us through it, and going to be in our midst. He's never going to leave us nor forsake us. And we have a rare privilege as a child of the Lord to experience that in a big and mighty way. If you read on, I just want to read verse 3 and 4 as well. "Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience." Verse 4, "But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing." I'm not perfect, but I know that the Lord is working some things out in my life, and He's doing that. He has done that. He will continue to do that through trials, temptations, through all kinds of different scenarios. If you look at verse number 2, that word divers means diverse. It's where we get our word diversity from. So it encompasses a various number of situations and circumstances. It's not one specific thing and then it doesn't deal with all these other things. It's for every situation that we find comes our way. And the temptations that come our way could be in the form of a trial. It could be in the form of some kind of adversity in our life. It can even be coming in the form of something that we've been provoked. So we have to look at every situation that comes our way, and hopefully through it happening over and over again, and the Lord helping with those situations over and over again, that we see that we should not panic, that we should not act out in the flesh, that we should watch and wait and turn to Him in prayer, and that we can have joy in the midst of it because we will see His mighty hand in the midst of it. Whenever you have a need and you want to tell others, well, Jesus is, or somebody tells you about their need, and they say, well, I have a need for, I have a need in this area, I have a need in that area, and you're trying to tell them, well, Jesus is all you need. They're going to be asking you, well, how do you know that? What has He ever done for you? Well, if you don't have a need, you won't experience that. If you try to take care of everything yourself, you don't experience what the Lord can do. You only get to experience what you have the ability to do. If this unforeseen bill comes in the mail and you look at it and you're thinking, well, I can just pay that, you don't really have a need for the Lord to help you with this unforeseen bill. You just take the money out and you pay it. But if you are shocked and by this unforeseen bill and you have no way to pay it, then you are having to search and ask Him. You're having to go to Him in prayer and say, Lord, I don't know how you're going to take care of this. I don't know what's going to happen in the midst of this, but I know that I have this need, and you knew about it before I knew about it, and I know that you have a supply and you're able to help me. And so we learn these things through the patience of those circumstances. Now, that doesn't mean that the bill's going to be paid for the next day. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen when and how that we want to. When we pray, Lord, I need this bill paid by tomorrow, that doesn't mean tomorrow that bill's going to be paid. But it does mean that in His timing and in His way, He's going to help you and He's going to help me. So, that's not just about financial needs. That's why it's divers temptations, a various, diverse amount of different circumstances could come our way. It could be a job loss. It could be the loss of a family member. A wonderful, loving family member could go on to be with Him, and we're left here to pick up the pieces, and in our circumstances, we are just horrified. If you never need to be comforted, how do you know that He can give you that comfort? If you never experience loneliness, how do you know that He can provide you with that love and affection, and that never leaving you nor forsaking you? How would you ever know that had you never had a need? And so I'm thankful for the storms. I'm thankful for the things of my past, of the things going on in my present that I just don't have an ability to do anything about. But I'm waiting, I'm watching, I'm paying attention to all these little details. When you do that, you start noticing every little bitty thing. You can see the hand of the Lord working in it. You notice things differently. And that happens through having these different diverse temptations that come our way. Whenever you are faced with a temptation, something that the flesh wants to do, and it could be any various of things, and you're saying, Lord, I need you. I don't know what to do about this situation. And Lord, I know what I want to do, but I don't want to do what I want to do. I want to act or react the way you want me to. And He knows how to help you and help me. And He has changed me. And He is continuing to change me. I definitely don't have everything figured out, but I have experienced the wonderful hand of the Lord working in and through my life, and I'm so thankful for that. I think about in times past of being in so much agony and so much pain, and so weak and weary from lack of sleep and from just being under immense amount of pain, and it going on for year after year after year, and not ever, if I would never have had a need, how would I have compassion and pray for those that are also experiencing pain and going through hardships and having a hard time with their health? How would I be acting? How would I know that God can heal had I never experienced the blessings that He has sent my way in the midst of it? How He comforted me during the middle of the night when nobody else could comfort me, when I couldn't stand, I couldn't lay, I couldn't sit, I couldn't get comfortable for anything. I was just in immense amount of pain. How would I know that He was able to help me through those times had I not ever experienced that? So I'm thankful for that. I wouldn't want to go back through it again, but I'm definitely thankful that in the midst of it, I saw His hand, I felt His comfort, and I know Him in a much, much more vivid, powerful way because of the storms, because of the circumstances that were beyond my ability to do anything about. So when you think about how can we have joy in the midst of that? You are going to notice that even when you are grief stricken, that there is comfort that helps you, that He knows how to help you through that. He knows how to help with that broken heart and to help you have that joy to go on and to move forward and to be able to laugh again, to be able to have joy coming in from in you and it come out through you. So we've experienced these things so we can be a testimony to others, to those that are lost, that are expecting us to fall apart. They're expecting us to blow up. They're expecting us to make all these mistakes in the midst of it, because that's what our flesh would have a tendency to want to do. But when we are patient, we are waiting, when we are not walking around in fear, but we are feeling like we're walking with the Lord right there with us and helping us all along the way, then we speak volumes to a lost and dying world about why we can say that your situation, you need Jesus. In my situation, I need Jesus. I can say that because I've experienced it. I've had a financial need that I couldn't meet. And he didn't just magically put something in my account, but He met the need in the most unusual ways. I mean, absolutely has met needs in my life in the most unique, unusual ways that I never could have even have comprehended, and paid for, taken care of debt that it still amazes me to this day of how His hand moved. I remember one time even the bills had been paid and there was food, in the cabinets, and it was a wonderful time. But I was kind of thinking where I don't have my own income, and I was thinking one day, I was at church and Todd, I believe, was preaching about missions, and I just felt very, very hungry, wanting to give to missions, but I didn't want to ask Him for money. I wanted myself to be able to give to missions, and I didn't earn an income. Definitely feel like that I work And I do a lot, contribute a lot in a lot of different ways, but I don't receive a paycheck for those things. So, Lord, how was I going to give to missions when I don't have an income? And I've shared this with some of you before, but that was probably on a Sunday night, and by Monday afternoon, I'm in the house. I'm probably fixing something for supper, and my neighbor walks in the door, and he said, "Here, this is for you," and he hands me $100 bill, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Don't argue with me. This is for you." And I said, "I can't take this." He said, "Yes, you can." He said, "Because this is yours." He said, "This is for you." And when he said that, I remembered what I had just prayed the day before. And I start crying. And I follow him back outside, and he gets in his truck and he leaves. And Todd's outside in their carport. And I said, "Andy just gave me $100. And he said, "He did." And I said, "Yeah." I said, and he said it was mine. And I'm crying, and he's saying, "Well, if he said it's yours, then it's yours." And I said, "You don't understand." I said, "When you were preaching last night," I said, "I went to the altar and I prayed for, Lord, please let me give to missions, but without having to ask you for the money to give that. I wanted the Lord to let me give. I wanted to be able to give to missions." And he said, "Well, it sounds like the Lord answered your prayer." And that's exactly what he did. Exactly what he did. And I was so excited to turn around and give that and put that I couldn't wait for church to come back. I couldn't wait for the offering plate to be passed around because I was so excited to give what I didn't have the ability to give. And the Lord, through his providential hand, gave it. And I'm just so thankful, and I'm so grateful. And then when we did meet back at church and we were singing in the choir, and it kind of overwhelmed me again that very Sunday, because we don't do an offering on Wednesday, so I had to wait till Sunday to give it. And so that next Sunday morning, the song was "Because He Loves Me." That's what Brother Wayne had chosen for that morning, and we're in the choir room and we're practicing it, and it just kind of hit me. It really, really hit me that he did that because he loves me. He did that because he cares about me. He did that because he's God and he can. And we had church in there in the choir room before we even got outside and we went into the sanctuary. We were in that choir room, and I'm just praising the Lord, thanking him for doing something so personal, so specific. Even the way that my neighbor said it, he said, "This is for you." And when he said, "This is for you," it was if the Lord was saying, "I sent it to you. I sent it to you through your neighbor. And I know you don't understand, and I know you don't know why, and I know you don't know how, but that's okay, because I love you." So he did it because he loved me. And what had really happened, and that I didn't know this until a little bit later, is that Todd gave our neighbor a tool that we didn't use. And he was a wonderful neighbor. He was such a blessing, and Todd gave it to him. And he was trying to make Todd take the money. And Todd said, "I'm not taking it." He said, "I told you you could have it." He said, "I just wanted to borrow it." He said, "I told you I don't use it. I just want you to have it." And he decided then that he was going to give me the money. And so he paid me. And what he didn't realize was the Lord was using him in a big and mighty way to let me know that he heard my prayer and that he loves me. That he loves me. So profound. And when you share that with others, you make a difference in their life. And when I try to explain that I have needs, but I don't really have to think about it. I don't have to worry about them because I know God, that Jesus Christ has the supply for all my needs. I don't have to fear. I don't have to worry about not having money. I don't have to fear about not knowing what to do or not to do, because I know he's going to lead and guide me, and he's going to help me with that right path, with that correct way to go. And I just hope that somehow, some way, this has helped you like it's helped me. But be joyful even for those storms. Just if nothing else, thank the Lord that you see his hand working in the midst of them. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.